Let's do this. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. Hey everyone, welcome back to Better Biomed. Today is a day where I opened up an old wound because I got a brand new camera. I got this beautiful Razer. It's a Keo Pro Ultra 4K camera right here. And I want to record videos in 4K. Not only does it have a larger aperture, which means that larger sensor and larger aperture means that this camera can record much better in lower light conditions, but also it has better video. And with 4K, it gives me a lot of video editing options that I didn't otherwise have. So this guy here, I really want to implement it into my system, and I want to record in 4K. That way I can zoom in, if I'm working on something on the desktop. It gives me and my editor a lot of options. So, in order to do that, I need more USB. More. Okay? And the problem is, I'm being extremely limited by the form factor of the computer that I chose to build last time. So this one here is a micro ATX, and this right here is the motherboard, this little guy right here. And I can only get 32 megs of memory, and you can see I have to resort to a low profile CPU cooler. I'm limited on the size of the power supply, and I'm extremely limited on the amount of USB. So some of the things I did to expand my USB was right here on the inside. You can see I've got an M.2 USB expansion. And this guy here, I thought was working okay until I went into the Windows debugger and I looked at my USB ports and I realized that this USB-C right here, which should be at a 3 to 3.2, which is the fastest USB, it was operating at 2.0. And I can't figure out for the life of me why that was happening. But that's okay, because what we're going to do is we are going to start again. I don't know what I'm going to do with this PC case or with the motherboard. The only thing that's going to transfer over to the new PC is going to be the memory and the CPU. I don't even know if I'm going to keep the CPU cooler. I might actually keep that with this case. So anyway, guys, that's the story. I've got a whole pile of CPU parts here. I'm moving from a micro ATX case over to a ATX. So it's a mini tower or a mid tower, and it's going to give my computer a lot more room to breathe, and at the same time it's going to give me a lot more options for USB. All right. So one of the ways that I'm going to solve my USB problem is I'm going to drop my cards on the floor. There is this cool little card right here. It's a PCI Express to USB 3.2. All right. This guy right here is going to solve some of my problems. See, the thing is when you record in 4K, 4K takes up so much bandwidth that it pretty much maxes out normal USB. So you have multiple USB controllers inside your computer. Normal computers only have, like, let's say 2 USB controllers. One will be for like the front ports, and maybe one for the back ports, or one for the high speed and one for the lower speed USB. But there's usually 2, maybe 3 USB controllers. Well, one of my USB controllers I wasn't even using. It was a port on my computer for expansion, and I wasn't even using it. That's because it takes, special cables, and it takes cards. Like these guys here are expansion cards. Well, with this case here, my 3070 graphics card takes up both ports. So I have no options whatsoever when it comes to ports. That sucks. So my only solution is to go ahead and get a new case, a new motherboard, double the memory, and so now I'm going to be running 64 gigs of memory and 2 USB controller cards. These cards are actually a little cool because if you notice on the back side of the card, there is a little port right here for SATA power. So that means that it is a powered USB. Okay, camera, come on, over here. So it's a powered USB card, which is extremely important because many devices, including the Osbot camera that you guys are watching this on, it feeds off of power from the USB-C. Now there's only so many amps of power that you can pull from the USB-C. So, guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera over, we're going to position it, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just start building right here. Stay. So, let's go ahead and do that. Let's move stuff around. Let's get it going. First things first, I should probably steal all the components I want off of my old case. And when I get all those components out, oh my gosh, this case, the other thing about this case, it seems like it's really nice because it's got a handle, you can carry it around. But the thing is this is not the cleanest environment in the world. Even though I clean this place all the time, you're still going to have problems with dust. And I am very strict on cleaning my computers. I have actually a periodic maintenance that I do on all of them, every single one of them, which, believe it or not, is more than you'd think. So that means that I pull all my computers apart, I check the thermal paste on them, I clean all the fans, I clean the radiators, clean the power supplies, and I blow them out pretty good, and then I put them back into service. And I do that a couple times a year. This guy here, in order to take the case off, it's such a horrible design. Now all they had to do is leave the bottom tray fastened in, but that's not what they did. You see, it's an L-shaped design. You see it? Since it's an L-shaped design, they have fasteners here, here, and here, and the feet that hold the case up off the ground, that keep it from tipping over, the feet come off with the side panel. It's a horrible design. So anyway, guys, here is this case. I might actually give this case away. I haven't decided yet, but I might give it away. I don't know if I'm going to sell it. It's only a couple months old, and it's a beautiful case. If I was, let's say, going around gaming or something, that's the case I would definitely choose. But for a streaming PC, I need expansion, and I just don't have it on this guy. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move that guy over here. We're going to pull it apart. You can see some of the dirt maybe on this. There's a bunch of dirt in there. And that is just the nature of the beast, you know. It's a computer. It gets dirty. Dirty things need to be cleaned. Simple enough. So let's see. I think I have a long enough USB. Tell you what. Can I really do this? Everything in my shop is now mobile, which is super cool. So it gives me some options to do stuff like this. Oop. Ta-da. How about that? Can you guys hear me all right over there? I hope my microphone's coming through nice and clear. There we go. Okay. Well, I wish I could do something fancier when it comes to like green screen and stuff, but this is what you're going to get. Okay, so first up, I have the computer case right here. This one is also special because in order to pull the 3070, which you can see right here, in order to pull that guy out, I have to pull, I believe, the handle off, maybe not, but the same L-shaped case, so it's two L's. One is for the bottom, one's for this side. I hate that design. I absolutely hate it, but here we are. So let's go ahead, let's see if we can pull it off with that top handle. Make my life way easier if I can. This is going to be so much nicer. Now that I got my Wi-Fi nice and tuned, so I got fast internet out here, now I need my camera angles. And camera angles come off super handy when you're trying to record video. Oh, let me guess. The handle's stuck, right? Gosh darn it. Computer case fail. All right, hold on, guys. Let me fix this. There we go. All right. Unfortunately, I have to pull the entire handle off. What a stupid design. Again, if you guys have this PC living in a house, it's not going to be a problem. Not a problem at all. All right, so there's the handle with the 4 screws. And yeah, look at that. What a horrible design. So right here, I can see how the screws go into the main chassis. And there we go. That's the side panel. All right, so here's the EVGA 3070. I have a really nice power supply on this guy. I thought it was 800, what is it, an 800 watt? 700 watt PSU. So it's definitely built to be fast. Oh, there's the other thing I'm gonna steal. Gosh darn it. That's a bad design too. In order to get to the fastener for my M.2 drive, NVMe drive, I have to pull the motherboard because the fastener is right here. All they had to do is cut a little divot for this guy right here, and I would have been just fine. But because they had to make this a square punch cut without the divot, now in order to remove the M.2, I have to pull the motherboard, then pull this guy, and then put the motherboard back in. How stupid. All right. So you're probably wondering about this card right here. Why is it in this configuration? It is on a riser card, which is why it's oriented 90 degrees from how a video card normally would sit. Let's go ahead and pop this guy out. Okay. Come here, you. Yeah, I don't even think there's a locking lug on this guy. Is there? Let me lay it down very carefully. No, I don't think there's a locking lug on it. Normally on PCI Express, there's a locking lug that keeps them tidy. Not on this guy. It's just friction fit. Oh, jeez. Okay. What do we got? I had everything cable managed. Everything was nice and neat, and now I'm going to mess all that up. So I have an L-shaped riser right here that goes from my PCI Express, and then it goes up through the panel, and that's why my card's oriented the way it is. Oh, never mind. So ridiculous. There's one little piece that's holding the PCI Express card. This is one little plastic piece right here. And there we go. Now my card will pop right out. There we go. All right, and so not only was there a 90-degree cable, but there's also a little extension piece. You see that? So I'm going to go ahead and put that guy back in the case, so whoever has this case next, they can utilize the card. Man, this guy's got to get blown out. All right, so my 3070, I did a whole video on this guy right here. I got this guy used, and I had to go through after the fact and clean it out. So I pulled it completely apart, cleaned it up, and fan bearings are still nice and good. So this is it's been a good card. I'm gonna give it some more life. All right, let's see what do we got. All right, let's see. Okay, next, as we'll go ahead and pull my memory modules. There we go. So what I did is I looked through my Amazon history, and I seen that I got these Vengeance DDR4s, and I just had another set shipped in so that I can run dual channel memory on the next motherboard. Let's see, this is all looking good. Gosh darn it, I really don't want to pull all this apart because it was such a pain to get it in and get it nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the motherboard, and then I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. After I loosen up the motherboard, I'm going to shift it over and I'm going to see if I can pull out that little Phillips screw. And if I can pull out the Phillips screw, then I don't have to undo any of this cabling. I really don't want to mess around with the cabling. It also adds to the presentation for if I sell or give away this case. You know, if everything's not just a rat's nest. So who would have thought that my USB would have been completely tapped out? As soon as I started adding my third or fourth webcam, it became apparent immediately. And when you're doing production as fast as I do, you really don't want to have to change your camera angles all the time, like manually. So I have cameras preset in a certain configuration. So all I gotta do is flip through my buttons, show the new camera angle, and press on recording. Makes it really nice. Let's see. I think I have them all. Oh, that stupid slot. So I've got 2 Phillips screws right here. Come on. I know I'm not supposed to be using a Phillips screwdriver at an angle like that, but sometimes you gotta, man. So this one and this one are holding that 90-degree port into the chassis. And it does give it a lot of rigidity, but the problem is that you have to, in order for me to even loosen up this card, I have to take it out. That sucks. There we go. So now I can shift the card around, which is going to be good. I'm going to leave the CPU in and some of this other stuff. And the other thing that I'm going to remove, come on. The other thing I'm going to remove is my M.2 USB 3.0 controller. Here, I'll pull it out and show you guys what I'm talking about. Come on. Wow, that's probably the longest M.2 fastener I think I've ever seen. Okay, so here is an M.2 card, and you can see it's got some USB 3 headers. And I had my cable plugged into this header right here, which should be the 3.2 header, but it was only operating at USB 2.0 speeds, that shielded header right there. So, in fact, it was thinking that this guy was the fastest header, which it technically shouldn't be. But anyway, I'm sure the next person that takes on this this computer is not going to want that card. So, all right, let's see. Everything else looks nice and dandy. I'm going to go ahead and put my fastener back in my M.2 header right here. Hey. I always try to leave fasteners in their holes, so the next guy that comes down doesn't have to look for a screw, it's already there. Okay, very carefully. All right, now I have just enough access to that port. Yeah, so I should be able to get this guy out. Excellent, there's that guy. Nice. All right, so here we go. That's a 1 terabyte. Maybe that one was a 2 terabyte drive. I don't even remember. It might have been a 2 terabyte, but it worked a treat. It was nice. And again, I'm going to put the fastener back in this port. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to re-secure that motherboard. First thing first is the PCI Express adapter. All right. Yes. And I've got some really weird angles, so you're going to see me use this technique where I use forceps to hold the fastener while I sneak in a screwdriver. It works out really well, especially when I'm going around cabling and stuff. So all I really do is I clip the forceps on the fastener like so, put it right over the hole, made up the screwdriver, and then just push down, and easy cheesy, man. There we go. All right, and let's see, I got two more. Yes. So the very last thing I got to pull on this guy is going to be my CPU. And this one here should be a AMD 7800G. And I don't really remember how I got the CPU off. Is it secure from the back? AMD. Okay. So this one here has got this brace plate on the back. So I'm going to loosen up the last two, but I'm not going to pull them out until I can get my hand up underneath to make sure that they don't flop around. Okay. So right now my fingers are up on the CPU cooler just to make sure it doesn't move until I really want it to, because this is a pin grid array CPU. That's a PGA. And a pin grid array is a CPU that's got hundreds, if not thousands, of little pins. And sometimes just the weight of the CPU cooler will make it want to fall out of its socket. So that's why I'm being super careful. There's the brace plate. Now this guy here should be completely ready to fall apart. All right, let's pull off that fan header. Got it. So when you're removing a CPU heatsink, always try to twist it a little bit to break up some of the forces that are on there, because you just squish a liquid. And if you don't twist it like that, it'll also possibly and probably pull up on the CPU, and it will destroy those pins. So on PGA CPUs, I always twist them like that. So here you can see the pins. Many, many, many pins on that CPU. I'm going to very delicately sit that guy over here. So here's my plate. And this computer case is completely scavenged as far as I am concerned. Hold on, let me clean off my fingers. That's the thing with this thermal compound, is it gets on everything, absolutely everything. All right, guys, hold on, let me see. I have not been reading my comments. Hey, Catherine, how's it going? Your boy Ram. How you doing, man? Yeah, I have a slight echo. Hold on. Let me see if I can deal with that. How about now? I shouldn't have an echo now. Let's see, Rody go, gimbal cam, let's shut that guy off. Let's shut that guy off. Check, check, check. Okay. Now I shouldn't have an echo now, okay? Okay. So guys, let's see, I think everything here is pretty much set. I've got a brace, okay. I've got one cable right here, and that's for my USB-C expansion. So I think, son of a gun. Okay. I might just leave this guy here at the moment, because I have to pull the motherboard out or loosen it up in order to get this cable through this port. I'm just going to leave it. I don't need it. I've got enough USB ports. Okay, let's see. I've got that guy, that guy, that guy. Right, ready to put it back together. Okay. Oh, one thing I do need is this little guy right here. This little guy, this L-shaped adapter. This guy is what holds the graphics card into its spot. So I definitely need to put this guy back. So it goes right up here, like so. Okay. So it's kind of cool. They put little divots here, little cutouts, so that you can get in with a screwdriver just like that. It's nice that they do it there, but they didn't do it on the M.2, which is annoying. What is it? That not the right fastener. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so my bracket's back on. Let's put the top of the case back on. Again, not my favorite case design, but it definitely was unique enough that for a while there it fit my needs. Okay. All right, glad that the audio is working out, guys. Sorry about that. I am recording this on my laptop, and this would be an absolute first with this laptop because this is a brand new 4080 laptop. It's a beast, an absolute beast of a laptop, but things like streaming, I've never set it up before today, so it's a process. Let's do this. Oh, I already messed up. Oh well. The reason I messed up is because there's some little hooks right here that hold the side panels, and those hooks have to be nicely fitted in order for it to not bow out. That's all right. I don't really care. I mean, this is just momentary. Let's see, where is my side panel? This guy. So you can see one of the things I had to do to adapt this guy is I put 2 external fans, and believe it or not, that worked a treat. That definitely worked, but it was a Band-Aid fix because the case, because I was running a lot, like the CPU, the amount of horsepower I had in this little case, it was too much. I really don't even think I had a problem with thermals. It was mainly just every once in a while I would get the flickering USB, which a lot of you guys have seen on some of my streams. And that flickering is because your controller is running out of resources. Which means your bandwidth is being exceeded. So that's all right. We will never have that problem again. Not after this build. Let's see, so I got this little guy right here. There we go. Come on. Perfect. All right, let's see. I'm missing one more screw. This guy right down here. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. I don't know if I'll pilfer these fans. I might just keep them like that for whoever gets this case next. They really did fit the bill quite nicely. All right, put him down here. All right, guys, it's time to start opening up the new case, the new motherboard. Wow, this is going to be such a heavy computer. And I've got new USB-C cables. So if there's one thing that you guys will never ever completely understand, it's USB. All right, you just got to give up and accept the fact that you're not going to understand it. USB-C has got various speeds. You can get 10 gigabit, you can get 20 gigabit cables and cards. I mean, you've got USB 3, 3.1, 3.2. I mean, USB-C, USB-A. I mean, and here's the crazy thing. On this card here, except for the fact that I've seen one of its technical drawings, You would think that like the USB-C ports, like this one and this one, are going to be probably the same speed, which is not true. This USB-C is shared with these three right here, and across all three of these is 10 gigabit. This guy right here is 10 gigabit. So technically, if I were to be plugged into here and here, it would have to split the bandwidth. Or if I plug into the top port, I get full 10 gigabit bandwidth, which is wild. It's absolutely wild that you have to go to that kind of extreme to figure out what port does what, because it's not like they're labeled. They're not labeled. It should have a 10 here, or it should have a line and 10 written here. Because if you're running webcams, it's going to matter. It's definitely going to matter. So when you come to USB-C, it's a whole nother ballgame. So USB-C have 60 watt cables, they have 100 watt cables, and then these ones here are 240 watt cables. So not only can USB-C handle different throughput speeds, so different bandwidths, but they also handle different charging wattages. This guy's a 240 watt cable, which is massive. That is absolutely massive. And that has to do with the conductors on the inside and the quality of the cable. This is a beautiful USB-C cable. You can find them on Amazon. This cable here is a 10-footer, and it's going to allow me to run my cameras properly so that I can secure my cables to the back wall and then route them up to the new PC. And getting the best of the best cables is going to ensure that I get the best video and the best amount of wattage to my cameras, because when you're pulling 4K worth of footage, you're also burning a lot more wattage than a typical USB-C connection. So 240 watt cables they have now. Very cool. Let's go ahead and put those guys over here. Here's my extra memory kit. I'm going to go ahead and slide those up here. All right, let's see. Now my case. Oh my goodness. Let's open up a case. Let's see what we got. Now I looked so hard to try and find a PC case that did not have tempered glass. Guys, I don't know what it is. Just give me a, like, you remember the old IBM type PCs that had the locking side panel? You can just grab a handle and it opens up the metal side panel. And plus, it's not as heavy. Tempered glass like doubles the weight of a PC. It's crazy. What is wrong? You need to remove CP cooler. This is a 5800X. It's an AM4, not AM5. Yeah, mine is an AM4. Yeah, it sure is. And actually, believe it or not, this little guy right here, the Noctua, this guy does actually match the TDP, because that little CPU that I have is 45 watts, is its normal TDP. True, it does click down a little bit hotter when you're really pressing it, but its normal TDP is 45 watts. Is one of the reasons I particularly chose it. Here, let me lock this guy down. There we go. So now with my ATX case, we have more options. All right, let's see. What is this? An organizer. This is a Lian Li case. I've never built one of their cases before. Look at this. It comes with a little kit full of fasteners and zip ties and rubber standoffs. That's a good idea, guys. That is an excellent idea. Holy cow. All right, so here's a new pressure plate for the CPU mount, I think. All right, instructions. Nah. Maybe I'll need those. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Oh, come on. All right, for this guy, I'm just gonna have to flip it over. Oh. Okay. Come on. Definitely not the lightest case in the world, but that's all right. The stupid tempered glass. I tried to get away from it, guys. It's such a fad that almost every single case has it now. All right, let's do it. Okay. Here, let's go ahead and set this guy up like so. All right, so Liam Lee case. This one here I chose particularly because of its ventilation. All right, so since I'm not doing any liquid cooling on this computer, it's going to be like my only one that's not liquid cooled, then I need lots of air ventilation. It's got a separate compartment down here for the power supply. I've got 3 built-in case fans. I got 2 of them in the front panel and 1 in the back. The top is all mesh. The front is all mesh with the 2 giant, what are they, 120? Yeah, I think they're 120 millimeter fans. So it is a beast. Let's just put it that way. So I was hoping that this was a, I was really hoping that this was going to be a door type of glass case, but apparently it's not a door, it's a slide panel. Oh well, I'll make it work. Come on. Looks like it's got, okay, it's weird. It's got captive screws, so it doesn't want to pull out the screws. Let's see, I'm gonna put my glass down over here. Okay, so for this PC case, I have lots of space. I'm really digging this. I've got through panel ports right here for my cable management. It's gonna look really nice. Lots and lots of spots right here for expansion. Definitely what I need. So let's see, first things first, we gotta get that power supply in. And let's see, sometimes these cases have a fancy way of sliding the power supply in. And this one here, looks like it's just going to be this front port. Okay, so I think I just pull off this panel right here and I should be able to get in. Again, I've never built a Liam Lee case before. So let's see how this goes. All right, so why does that not look correct? Maybe my power supply will fit in there. I just don't feel like it will. This is the power supply. It's a 1,000 watt Corsair. It's a 80 gold. Nice power supply, and I need that extra power. Not only because I'm pushing a 3070 card. I mean, I don't know for sure if I'm always going to keep the same AMD processor. The one I got at a steal of a deal, which is one of the reasons I bought it. But since I can just throw another AM4 in there, who's to say, man? This will give me some range. All right. Much better. More zip ties. All right. I like that manufacturers are starting to include that. And let's see. Silent operation at low to moderate loads. In this mode, the fan will not spin. Okay. Excellent. So this is customizable power supply. I like how all the newer ones are doing that. And also, all my power supplies that I've been buying have the on-off switch. Some of the cheaper ones don't put a physical switch in there. I like being able to lock it out without going through and unplugging the PC completely from the wall. So I like the fact that it's got a power switch. All right, so for this guy, let's see. All right, so my cables are definitely going to be sideways. All right, what the piss? All right. You look for a long time. Fractal and Plantex are your best bet. Land cooled 216. Yes. Remove the side panel. Oh, this is the side connector. Yeah, it does have a side connector PSU. So, on this particular one, now I'm reasonably good at taking things apart, and I am not seeing too many options here. Looks like I can pull this tray. Oh, what a pain. So the fact of the matter is the PSU is just a little too tall to fit in here. And they riveted it. Ah, okay, so I might have to break these rivets just to raise this guy up just a little bit. Let's see. Before I do that, let's go ahead and let's pull the other side panel. I got to pull it anyway, right? See? Ooh, careful. All right, let's try it from this side. Maybe I got a little more clearance. Okay. So you guys can see what I'm doing. So when I break it, you guys know exactly how I broke it. Okay. Look at that. Ah. You would think that it would universally be the right size for both sides, but it's not. Okay, so PSU fits beautifully. Of course it would. Why wouldn't it? And let's see. So if you guys have seen any videos lately, they're talking about never mix your cables. It is absolutely true. Don't ever mix your cables, man. Nothing but trouble there, because the pinout will be different on various manufacturers. Let's see. So I got my power supply fasteners right here. And come on. Come on. It's extremely odd trying to do this on a camera so that the camera has angles, because normally your eyes want to be at the angle that the camera is at, just so that you can see what the heck you're doing. All right. Come on. There we go. And last one. There it is. All right. Power supply is off. Let's get rid of the extra trash. So this is a beast of a case. Got lots of RGB headers on the back for expansion. All fan / RGB. I don't know. Guys, I really don't like hooking up RGB on my computers anyway. So, all right, power cable. I'm gonna go ahead and put a lot of this stuff up here. Let's see. Sorry guys, I've got people constantly rating me, and that is life. Constantly rating me. Huh. Les 3D, good to see you, man. Good for you to be here. Enough space for a PSU kit. Well, that is going to be the epitome of this orientation. Since it's a side mount, the cables are going to come up this back wall and through over here. Should look really nice when it's done. I don't really care about looks. It's almost solely about function for me, but you know, it's a nicety. Okay, so next thing that we should do is check out the motherboard. Let's see what we got. Let's make sure that everything is good to go, and then we will place the motherboard in the case. All right. So for my AM4 choice, I've got the ROG Strix, the 85B8550, and this is the F series. It's the Wi-Fi. Believe it or not, I chose another one, and even though they said it had it in stock, they in fact did not. So this is just as good. It's going to be just as good. All right, let's put this guy down. So because my CPU is just sitting out on the desk, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to mount up the CPU before I put it in the case, because when it's in the case, the likelihood that you're going to drop the CPU because you're operating at a steeper angle, it's just much safer to do it while the board is not mounted. Okay, let's see, we got Wi-Fi antenna, we got some SATA cables, all right, M.2, and what are these guys? Got some little rubber standoffs of some sort. I don't know what those are. It says, stick this pad onto the existing M.2 pad. Okay, we'll figure it out. And again, instructions. Okay, let's get this motherboard out. Come on, come on. All right, so this one here is actually a pretty nice motherboard. Obviously, the one thing that I was going for was the USB expansion. So I've got a USB 3 Gen 1, and let's see. This one here does not have the 3.2 header. That's okay. I don't need it. You know, if anything, front panel is going to connect right here. We'll be good. And for the back, I've got 2 of the super speeds, 1 BIOS, and I've got the super speed, the 10 gigabit. So I've got a USB-C and a USB-A, and then 2 more USB 3s down here, display port, and a HDMI onboard, embedded Wi-Fi, super nice. So, and it's got a BIOS reset. Not that I overclock very much, but I have, especially on my computer that's in the house, I have had to reset the BIOS several times, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see. I have also an AMD Wraith cooler, which is brand new in the box. And I'm just curious. I think the Noctua has better thermals than the OEM Wraith cooler. So I might just stick with this guy right here. In order to use it, I have to remove these lockdown clamps and replace them. All right, so let's get these guys right out of the way. I think I've only on one PC build ever used these, because a lot of manufacturers seem to prefer like through panel screw downs, because you get more pressure than just the single point on these guys right here. So this is kind of like an aging technology, is these older style press down lockdowns. All right, let's do this. Okay, and there's that plate. Spare parts. I've got like a drawer full of these now. All right, so like I said, one of the first things I'm going to want to do is deploy my PC CPU. So I always check things to make sure that nothing is bent or broken, because when you start putting it back in the ZIF socket, the zero insertion force socket, that's when things really do go wrong. And it looks like I got one pin, one tiny little pin right here, that's slightly bent right there. So that will be the first corner that I put in, because that one slightly bent pin will straighten out as soon as I push it in. Let's see, here we go. Okay. Let's see, which one was that again? Okay, that's the back corner. Come on. There we go. Beauty. Okay, just like that. So one of the things I really wish I did is wear gloves, because one of the things I like to do for smearing out this thermal paste is I use a glove to smear it out instead of using the dot technique and all that other bullshit that people say. Just putting it on a glove and making sure it's uniform across the entire cooler. I've always gotten way better thermals and way better contact patterns than the guys that just put the dot or the X or any of that garbage. Just make sure you got a thin layer all the way across the heat spreader, and it will be good to go. There we go. Just like that. All right, now I need to wash my hands because thermal paste is the worst. It gets on everything. All right. Here we go. Well, as Catherine said, I didn't state how to match up where the CPU should go. There is a triangle on the board, and then there's a golden triangle on the CPU. And I guess because I've been doing it, I mean, the AM4 has been around for so long, and before that, I mean, they had almost the same type of indicator on, like, what, the AM3 CPUs, going back even further. I mean, so yeah, there's little arrows. You just line them up, make sure that you know, they're pointing towards each other, and then gently put it in. And if there's any resistance whatsoever, pull it back out. So as long as the arm's up, it should just kind of sit right in the socket. And this back corner right here was the leg that I was telling you guys about that might be slightly bent. So I put it in first. I made sure that this back corner over here was lined up. And then when that corner started seating, that's when I rocked the chip down in. And that made sure that all the legs were parallel. And we're good. Okay, so this CPU is in. We're good to go. Now I'm going to be ready to go ahead and put this guy in the case. And gosh darn it, thermal paste is the worst, guys. Hold on. I have one enemy of thermal paste, and that is the sanitary wipes. It's got like a alcohol, and it just eats that thermal paste right up, gets it off the fingers. Nice. There we go. Cool. And I'll just throw this guy away. Okay, so now my CPU is safe. I'm gonna go ahead and put it over here while I get the case back up here. Nice. Here we go. I think we finally got good camera angles so that you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So not every single case has the correct standoffs. So you always want to check to make sure that the standoffs that are on your case, that's the little pieces that are sticking up that your screws are going to fasten to. You want to make sure that the correct ones are installed, because sometimes you'll have a standoff like in the middle of the board, or there won't be one where there should be one, and you're going to run into problems. I've had boards that ground out because there's a standoff where there shouldn't be, you know. But this one here, nice. They have everything already set up. Okay. So I just make sure that all my fastener holes are lined up. Make sure I got standoffs behind each and every single one. And then we should be ready to start screwing her down. And for this, I'm going to utilize the Liam Lee kit that they gave me here. It's beautiful. I love this, man. So everything is individually wrapped in their own little plastic. So cool. I dig it. Wow. And let's see. So I've got fasteners for the case, I've got fasteners for fans, I've got fasteners, plastic fasteners for fans. They're plastic screws. And let's see, those right there are standoffs, super tall ones. And the other ones are thumb screws for the case. Cool little kit, I dig it. All right, let's see. All right, so that I'm nice and comfortable in doing this. Guys, don't get older. If you get older, things start hurting, like your back. It sucks. Just don't do it. All right, that figures. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my corner fasteners in loosely. So make sure all the corners are lined up. That way there, all the rest of them should line up too. Because what will happen, especially if you have a through panel adapter plate, is the through panel adapter plate sometimes is spring loaded, so it pushes back on your motherboard. And if you start feeding your fasteners from one side, you'll notice by the time you get down to the bottom, it's skewed. And if it's skewed, then you will have some problems. You're right about the RAM. I will put the RAM in as soon as the motherboard's secured. It's because they sit up a little bit high, and I don't want to dick around with those, maybe getting them damaged. So the CPU sits flush. I'm not really worried about that. Now, there are a couple different types of RAM slots that I've seen over the years. Some types of RAM slots are the ones where you have to put one side in and then you kind of rock it down, which is this type. Other types, they have these locks on both sides of the RAM chip. Unfortunately, this one here, you have to kind of pop it in one corner and then you rock it down, it locks in. It is what it is, guys. I don't feel as good about these ones as the ones that you push straight down, but these ones here, they'll work. Let's see, guys. I got just a couple more fasteners to go. Okay, so now I got my four corners in. I'm going to make sure that they're all tight. Now my board is nice and square. Now we'll go ahead and just proceed. There we go. Nice. Oh, and this one up here is always a pain in the butt. There we go. I wish this was a magnetic tip screwdriver, but I really like these Wiha screwdrivers, and you can tell that they're insulated. The insulated makes sure that I don't damage as much stuff. If I drop my screwdriver or something, you know, it's polymer. It's makes for a better day usually. Whereas magnetic screwdrivers are all metal shaft. There we go. Nice. So I got just one more down here. Oh shit. Got a few loose screws, huh? All right. So I believe we have all the fasteners in on this board. Now, one of the things that I do have to worry about, let's see, where are ya? Where are ya? I've got my M.2 right here, which has a pretty nice heatsink on it, which means I don't need the ones that are on here. Often the M.2 heat sinks that are on the system are only for aesthetics. So we're going to find out right now. So your M.2 NVMe drive that's got your operating system should always be on the slot closest to the CPU, because then it will have more PCIe lanes. So your lanes are the amount of data pathways to and from the CPU. So this one right here is going to have the most PCIe lanes because it's closest to the CPU. And just like a lot of computers will place the RAM extremely close to the CPU, because that way there they have as short of a path as possible to the CPU. I do need, however, my M.2 kit, which I know I've seen in here. Where are you? Okay, right here's my M.2 standoff kit. So what we have to do is we have to measure out, because this is a nicer heatsink, the one that I've got on my M.2 module, is I'm going to measure out how long it is, which means you can see it comes down to here, and I need to put a standoff in to hold it up to help secure it. And that's why we have this little kit right here. These are tiny, tiny little screws, guys, so you have to be really careful when you open these bags, which is what I'm doing. And my little standoff goes in. So you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a standoff right here. It's tiny, I know. It's threaded on one side, and it's got a female thread on the other side, so that you can secure something at a higher height than the board level. Come on. There we go. So now that I got that guy in, now I can put my NVMe drive in the M.2 slot, and it should mate up perfectly. So now I have a tiny little Phillips screw that I need to put in. When I say tiny, I do mean tiny, guys. Let's go ahead and put this guy in, secure down my OS drive. Now Windows should be installed on this from the last computer. And historically, I've had a problem with just moving the drive to a new PC. But since the CPU is in here too, it used to be Windows would take the motherboard, the CPU, and they would register Windows according to those codes. Well, you can change out one, but you can't change out two. I don't know. That's definitely changed over the years, but as long as it's the same CPU, I should be just fine. Okay, so now, just as we said, the RAM. Man, I really wish, don't have extra stand. I need to read my chat over here, and I really want my chat to be a larger. Hold on, let's see if I can make the font larger. Can I do that? I was hoping doing the control and the mouse wheel, you know, normally that will increase your resolution or your font size. Not doing it here. Sorry guys, I'm reading some of your comments. I'll take the Ziploc bag in my hand and the bag spread around the thermal compound. Yeah, you can do that. You can definitely do that. I like gloves. I mean, they're cheap, easy to get. They're so cheap that I don't have any here in my shop at the moment. So stupid. All right, NVMe first, then CPU cooler. You are pretty much right. The newer memory slots are better. Of course they are. Caps does. I need to make the font larger. So one of the reasons I chose this laptop is because it has a higher resolution on the screen. And if you're editing video footage and you only have a 1080p screen, you're only going to be editing 1080p video per se. But with a larger, like 4K display, font and everything is tiny. So you got to be closer. But anyway, guys, we'll get through this. We'll get through it. Okay, so in order to secure the CPU cooler, I have to flip this guy over, and I don't really want to do that yet. So let's put these guys up here. I have a matching set of RAM, and these should all be the exact same. Yep, same latency, same everything, same brand. And so it doesn't really matter. Normally you want to put them in very particular slots, usually the first and the third slot. But since these ones here are all the same, it's not really going to matter. I did that on purpose because I've had, especially with AMD, I've had RAM mismatch issues historically. The reason I chose an AMD processor is because they are just killers when it comes to getting shit done. Just the multi-thread capabilities are insane on these Ryzen CPUs. Okay. All right. So you can hear the clickety clack when I put them in. Let's see this guy. They got stickers on the Vengeance labels. Okay, there we go. So 64 gigs of RAM, that should definitely make things a little bit better for me. Believe it or not, like Premiere Pro just eats the memory, just eats it. Especially when you're doing, you know, seeking through a video that you're editing. It loves throwing it in RAM. Okay, cool. So our memory's in. M.2 is filled with our NVMe drive, that's got the Windows install. CPU's in. Okay, now we're ready for the CPU cooler. Let's go ahead and get that bad boy in. So from the back side, oh shit, lovely. It's obscured by this plate right here, so I gotta pull this plate off. I guess it's kind of cool that it looks like they only have 2 fasteners that are holding this plate on. I think that's to protect the back of the CPU. Don't really know. Okay, so you can see this plate right here. And that gives me access to this. Liam Lee, you fucking idiots. Okay. Again, I could probably do it, but the case right here is slightly obscuring my ability to get to these 2 fasteners right here and right here. I get so pissed when case manufacturers do stupid shit like this. All right. Sorry, guys. You don't deserve the profanity, but this is really stupid. Okay, well, so the screws that I have to use are these guys, and can I even get them in? Nope. Okay. Ah, jeez. Excuse me while I have a little meltdown. So stupid. All they have to do is so simple. It's just modify where that AMD comes through. Okay. I have to pull the motherboard. Gosh darn it. This will probably be my last Liam Lee case that I ever use. Because I don't think I've ever had to take my motherboard completely back out to secure my CPU. Catherine, you're not helping anything. You're not. You're not. It's a bad design, and we can't make excuses for a bad design. It clearly had the access panel on the back. Come on. Last two, last two. All right, let's see. Do I have one more? Oh, which one am I missing? Get those, get those, get those. Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know for sure, but I feel like there's a fastener underneath my M.2 right here. Ah. What absolute trash. Absolute trash. Okay, here we go. And what the heck else is holding this guy down? Okay. No, I didn't put any panel screws in from there. Okay. Well, guys, it's just kind of stuck in there, I guess. Believe it or not, that I was pulling up on that pretty good, and it was not giving way. So, so reckless. Okay, well, there wasn't a fastener under my M.2. It was just really pressed on those standoffs. Okay, let me put that guy back on. Okay, so we got that guy down. Let's go ahead and get the CPU cooler on. So the CPU has some headers. These ones are up here at the top. So I just need to make sure it's oriented correctly so that there's definite good access. Hey you, what are you doing over there? I have $26 right now. You do? Thank you. Wow, so you guys did good, huh? Oh, that's wonderful, sweetie. Okay, so let's see. Just making sure that I got the right one because I have definitely made this mistake before. So there's two ports up at the top for fan headers, and believe it or not, one of them is labeled, and of course the other one is not. It is not labeled. So if I look like I'm confused, it's because I've got some silk screening way over here. It says CPU fans, and then right next to it they have CPU optional. A little ridiculous, but I guess they got to do with what they can do. All right. So what I'm going to do is very lightly. Oh, oh, oh. God. This is why I will never buy this brand case again. Is because this is so much more safer to do when the board is mounted in the PC case than to do it here while it's just floating. All right, so I'm going to get these guys started. There we go. Which makes it all the more ridiculous because if I ever want to pull this PC out, if I ever want to change the CPU, I got to pull this whole entire motherboard out again. I'm not happy with this case. If it wasn't like an hour-long process to go and, you know, take this case back, I would take it back right now. Definitely not happy. And that leads me to another unique problem. Guys, you probably know what I'm doing wrong, don't you? You guys see that I didn't put the pressure plate on. That's because my daughter came in while I was doing something, and I had the door locked, and she came in the doggy door, which is in the back of my garage, and she wanted to share with me that she made some money during a garage sale. I can't get upset at that. They always want to share stuff with me. Okay, there we go. I was like, why do I have so much space on these screws? It just wasn't making any darn sense. Well, that's because I forgot the spacer plate. There we go. All right, so you can see that I'm tightening them down in a sequence. That's because the CPU cooler actually has spring-loaded arms. Let me flip it over so you can see. Underneath there are some spring-loaded arms, and those arms, you have to make sure that they're torqued down nice and evenly. And that's one of the things I always do, is I make sure that I do a cross pattern. But here we go. This guy should be all set. I'm going to hide this CPU fan right down here behind this heatsink. Okay. Back to where we were, putting it in the case. Gosh darn it. All right, there we go. We're off to the races now. Oh, I can't wait to boot this guy up and deal with the BIOS errors. Okay, here we go. We're good. We're good. All right. Now we can start again at the corners. Loosely put in the fasteners to make sure the board is nice and square. Okay, cool. Nope. Feels like I've done this before, huh? You know, one of my biggest weaknesses as a person is I hate going back. I absolutely hate going back. That's why I might do something a little bit slower than somebody else. And that's because I usually am pretty thorough on what I'm doing, so I don't have to go back, because if I have to go back, I have like little meltdowns internally. There we go. And I haven't even pulled out any of the cabling for the front panel on this PC to take a look and see what it's all got. One of the reasons I like this case, believe it or not, there's a lot of new cases out on the market that have really poor front panel I/O interface, which means they might not have any USB ports on the front of their PC case. Believe it or not, there's a bunch of them out there on the market like that. Or, oh, come on. They might not have a power button on the front case. I've seen it. I was like, why would you ever build something like that? Or I've seen cases that have tempered glass on the front, which if you're going to do tempered glass on the front, then, you know, at least make it removable so that you have a screen behind it. But some of them don't. It's just wild. Come here. Ay, ay, ay. And the one fastener that's a pain in the butt is that one right here in the front corner. This guy right here. There we go. All right. So we're ready to proceed. Everything's in. RAM is down. I've definitely had RAM pop loose in the past. CPU fans connected. Okay. Now let's go ahead and tip her up. Let's take a look at some of these cables for the front panel I/O. Now, this is interesting when manufacturers are starting to put in things like cable organizers. Man, this seems like such a new concept compared to what it used to be. All right, so you can see I just took my cabling. I'll reroute it and I'll secure it later. I just pulled it through. Oh my gosh. Okay. Gosh darn it. Oh well, I just won't use my USB-C port. So I have a USB 3.0 connector, and I've got a 3.2 connector, which is this little metal guy right here. And the reason I'm upset is because this board here does not have a 3.2 header. Not at all. So stupid. I could potentially use this guy because I do have a second M.2 right here, but I'd rather not, you know, take it up at the moment because I'll probably throw another drive in there eventually. But yeah, so this little metal port right here in the middle, this, I would expect more from these guys. This is a Strix Gaming Wi-Fi, and I cannot believe it doesn't have that metal port. What garbage. Okay, well, I've got my 3.0 port right here. I'll use that. That'll get me up and going. And also, I've got my front panel headers. Okay, there's USB. And let's see. Over here to the side, I've got front panel. Which, that does not make me feel good. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a look at this front panel connector right here. What a pain. All right, what am I missing? Okay. You can see some power connectors over there. So the reason being is this case right here has got a 4-wire front panel. I guess it doesn't have an LED for the power. Because normally you have 8 wires, you know, because you got LED, you got your hard drive light. And for these guys, I guess we're just not going to use that. Come on. Okay, we just won't use that. And I also have a audio connector. Which I'll pop in just like so. It says audio, but I guess that has my LED indicators. Although I don't see any LEDs on the case. We're gonna find out together, guys. So this is my one regret, is that this motherboard doesn't have this header. That's a shame. Tim says Fractal Meshify C Compact. I built my AM4 system. So you're going to see in just a moment why I'm doing things in the order that I am, because those expansion cards are going to be something else. First, I guess let's pull out an expansion card so we can see how much space it's going to take. All right. So the reason I have to have this case is because, shit. Okay. This is just one of those days where nothing's going right. So the first motherboard I chose had two PCIe by 4, which are these ones. They're wider. And this case here has PCI by 1s. It's got 3 of them. And then it's got a by 8. What is that? Is it by 8? It's technically a by 16 slot, right? Yeah. So the longer slots down here are by 16. And then one of my 16s is obviously going to be for the video card. But that means I can only install one USB card. Which means I'm going to have to take one back to the store. Or get another motherboard. I guess we're going to find out together, huh? Okay. So let's go ahead and pull some of those slots, because I've got my video card that's going to have to get matched up. I'll put the video card in probably last, like right before I start routing some of my power cables. But this is what happens when you plan meticulously and something has to change. And what changed was the motherboard, and because it changed, I lost a slot and I lost a port. All right, let's see. Oh well. There we go. It's one of my blanks. And let's see, for this guy here, it's going to use one of my PCIe by 16s. So that's going to be that one and that one. Okay. So the 3070 card is a 2-port card. So it takes the space of two slots. And then I've got this guy over here. One USB controller expansion card. One. So maybe I'm going to use this guy after all. Maybe so. There we go. So let's go ahead and put the card in this guy right here. So it doesn't take all the real estate of the slot, but it doesn't need to, because it's only going to use 4 of the lanes. Lanes are the amount of data pass. And let's see. All right, hold on, guys. What is not going right here? Okay. So the tang on my little card right here does not want to line up perfectly. There it goes. Normally when you hear a sound like that, that is not good, but because of the case and the alignment of the motherboard, it just needed a little bit of love, and now it's happy. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and check out that power supply, and let's check out some of that wiring. So one of the neat things about this case is they do have some wiring guides so that you can route your wiring nice and neat. I guess that's pretty nice. Now I'd be curious how many of these wires that are coming off this power supply are going to interface with the side panel. They're going to rub. We're going to find that out right now, guys. Hopefully not too many. All right, cable time. SATA, let's see, PCIe, yeah. All right, let's just go through them. Type 5, CPU, all right, we're gonna need that one. We're going to need this one. And for my 3070, I've got 2 8-pins, so I'm gonna need 2 of those. There's one. I need a SATA. Let's see. And where is my other 8-pin? 6. No. 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 Okay. Let's see. What do we got? Definitely don't need that one. What is this guy? This is a regular SATA cable. Nope. So here's going to be my other 8-pin. It's got a little conjunction connector right here. So save that one. Okay. I think most of these other ones are going to be some extras. Let's go ahead and place those over here. All right, so let's start with the big boy, this guy right here. Man, I wish I had more lighting right here. I got lights all over in this garage, and I still wish I had more lighting. Oh, hold on, guys. I am not reading my comments. When you have a foolproof plan, life finds you a better fool. My gosh, if that ain't the truth. I'll help you with the board. You know, I've built many computers, but you still find stupid nuances. You should rename this. You are not kidding there. You are not kidding there. Okay. So this is the main board cable. Let's see. And it is going to poke through right here. Okay, and let's take apart some of these. All right, so here is my 8-pin PCIe. But wait a minute. Is that new standard? Gosh darn it. Okay, so this I believe is the new standard for like the 4080s and 4090s. It's a nice heavy duty feeling cable. I believe it's like PCIe 5. Yep, it does. It's got the 2 wires up in there. Okay, not going to use that one. All right, so we're going to use the 6+2s, which are these ones. Here. So in the 6+2s, you have to put these 2 right here together, and then that will take one of the power ports, one of the 8 pins. Let's go ahead and move this guy out of the way. So I'm definitely going to use this guy. Oh, nice and easy, guys. Okay, so first off, here's my main power cable. Boy, that connects, but geez, doesn't feel as secure of a connection as I would prefer. Come on, I can't see. What the hell am I doing wrong? It's a Type 5. Jeez. Come on. Come on, missus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it goes. Jeez. I would expect to hear a latch, like a firm latch when I connect it, and I'm just not getting that. So there's a sense of satisfaction that I don't have when I connect them like that. Okay, so now my PCIe's and my CPU cable. Go. All right, cool. And this guy, the CPU is normally up at the top. So normally you can feed it up through here and it will come in from the top. We'll find out in just a minute. It's another 6x2. So I need 2 of these to supply power for the 3070. It is a power hungry little guy. There we go. Let's see. So these 2 here alone are just for my graphics card. And let's see. I'm going to need at least 1 SATA cable, partially to power the lights and all that fanciness. So I'm going to plug him over here. All right, let's start routing some cables. I'm plugging some stuff in. Let's see if I can do this so that y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, SATA off the side. CPU, I'm going to try and route it up the side panel, like so. And there is a CPU header way up here at the top. So if I can sneak this cable in, like so. Come on. And then I run out of light. Okay, so right here's the header that I'm trying to connect to. But there it goes. All right, so I need one more cable for that CPU. Well. Okay. Well, this is a first. Don't think I've ever run into that problem before. And I do believe I can just take the by 6 header and connect it to the by 4 CPU header, right? No, I cannot. So I am missing a by 4 CPU. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. I overlooked something. So this cable right here, my other CPU cable, it comes off in 2 different parts. So I will split the cable, which, come on, they just latch together. So I'll split these 2. And that will give me my other 4 pin that I'm looking for. Oh, those little bad boys are connected pretty good too. All right. There's 2 little latches right here. We just push these 2 together like so. And that splits my cable. All right. Now I have my CPU 4-pin header. All right, let's do it. CPU. All right, and I'm going to run that cable just the same up the side, like so, and through. So I'm only going to run 1 4-pin through. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the cable to separate them because they were pretty close together. I only need one side, so I'm just going to pull them and poke the one through. The other one is just going to be cable managed in the back. There. So here we have my second cable. Good. Okay, we're good there. I can go ahead and plug in my main board power. Nice, that's a good click. And I will pull that loop back through on the back side. So what we want to do is manage this so there's a little loop in the front, and then we'll secure the cables right here with these cable ties that are embedded just like so. There's not very much clearance between this back panel and the inner panel, so you know we got to pull these cables kind of tight. Let's see what else we got. I've got SATA. I got my PCIe for my graphics card. I can run those right now. So my graphics card is going to come out. I can probably run them right through the same hole right here. All right. Yep, something like that. And let's go ahead and tie some of these cables down. Okay. Let's see, I've got one SATA over here. I guess I could probably hook that guy up. And that's a fan header. All right, hold on. Or, I keep saying header, it's a fan cable. So this fan cable here is going to poke back through, and it's going to mount to the motherboard. There we go. Let's push it through. And it will run over here to one of my fan headers on the motherboard. Which I need more cable. Come on. There we go. I need a lot more cable. All right. And what I'm going to do with that guy is I'm going to run him down here to my case fan. All right. And this cable will be pulled tight so nobody's going to see it. Not like it really matters. I don't really care about that. Come on. Just like so. There it is. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. Okay. Well, that's set. You see these extra cables here. Because I don't want to be flopping around the big heavy GPU, that's why I'm not putting it in yet. Let's see. So these cables here look decent up here. I will admit that cases are getting way better for cable management. It used to be just a metal box, and you had almost no options for how you want to route your cables. But things are getting better. Okay, so I don't have any SATA on my PC, but what I do have is this guy right here, which is for my fans. And I'm going to tuck all these cables back underneath. Okay. You know, I might actually, I'm going to run the SATA. Oh, sorry, guys. Y'all can't see really what I'm doing, can you? So I'm going to run the SATA across the side of the PC there. There we go. And I'm going to plug this guy in way over here to keep things neat. Come on. There we go. So like this, like this. Come on. And under here. Nice. And then this guy's going to run with these ones, so in case I run some SSDs or something later, I have all my cables set up and ready to go. Okay. Let's see. All right. These cables sit up in these little hoops. Let me check that main board cable. Okay, here we go. Nice and neat. Okay. I think I'm going to run out of a little bit of real estate right here. Okay, here we go. And last one. Okay. And yeah, I'm just gonna let that guy kind of flop in the breeze, because I hate undoing cable management once it's there. Okay, so this guy here, I'm going to secure just over here like so. So it is kind of flopping around, but that way there, when I hook up some SSDs, which can and might happen, it's gonna be nice and easy. Okay, so let's see. My fans are all connected. Main power is connected. My CPU power is connected. I think on the back side, we're pretty much good to go. And I do have that plate that goes back here. Doesn't really serve a purpose. So it gives a couple other mounting options. Let's see, it goes like this. Yeah, see there's a couple more tie downs there. Doesn't really serve a purpose in this case, but I'm going to put it on anyway. There we go. Huh. Kevin, what's going on, man? Good to see you. What am I doing wrong? Man, you know, it's interesting. You know, in the end, I really don't care what people think I'm doing wrong, because if there's one community of people that are always dicks to one another, it's PC builders. It's true. Go on any video where people are building computers, and you will see them just destroying each other. And that is not the community that I'm trying to foster. So I wouldn't be building PCs if I didn't need a new PC. So are you going to run some games in this bad boy once it's up? Probably not, guys. I have some beast. My laptop right here is a beast. I can run some games on that. But this one is nothing compared to the computer that I have in the house for doing my video editing. This is a streaming PC. So USB is my #1 priority, because I have a brand new camera, and I'm going to be running 2, maybe 3 webcams off this bad boy. So the one you cannot split goes into the PSU. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Tyson says he's got the same case. The only problem I have about this case is the fact that they were really shoddy about right here, these 2 screws for the CPU pressure plate. It's probably one of the dumbest decisions I've seen, is for them to not make this just a 1/4 of an inch bigger. 1/4. I'm talking like, I probably could have made this work if it was 3 millimeters lower. 3 millimeters, I would have been fine. But nope. Just really bad design, because it's probably designed more so around Intel instead of AMD. But since there's a gaping hole right here, you would assume that they'd make it for both. But either way, the case itself, I like the cable management options that it gives. I mean, that's really nice, because I don't have to worry about like all the stuff coming loose. I think it's ready to go ahead and fire up. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Last thing to put in is my 3070 GPU. So we got this guy right here. And my USB front panel, I can tell already they're going to be like hitting my card. So I'm not going to be happy about that. All right. Okay, GPU is in. this poor GPU's already had a pretty good life. All right, GPU's in. Now, luckily, this GPU here is not nearly as heavy as my 3090, which I have to worry about sag, you know, because it wants to just pull on it. It's such a pain. All right, so we got this guy right here. It's one of my PCI Express connectors. So what we got to do is we got to match up the connector like so in order to make it made up correctly. Kind of a dumb design, but it does make it there we go. Makes it flexible so that you can use different types of systems, I guess. All right, here we go. This one. Come on. Come on, missus. That one pin, it always is the pain in the ass. Or the last two. There we go. So that's my two 8x connectors. Obviously, the thing that's going to suck the most power in this entire system is going to be that GPU. Hold on. I got to reorganize some of this because I don't like when cables are sitting around each other like that. There we go. And what I'll probably do is zip tie these guys like so. Keep them nice and neat. All right. Let me get flush cutters. All right, so let's see. Now I can pull these wires back through on the back side. Let's see, it's this one and this one. Okay. Much better. Okay, so I will probably eventually get a better CPU cooler. That is not an issue. Power supply is good. We're good. These guys should all be connected right here on case fan 1. Okay. Oh, let's see, my USB 3 started popping out. So one of the things I usually do, because you know, I might transport this guy and stuff, is the USB 3 port, the connector, is always a pain in the ass. I always secure it to the main board power, but in this case, I'm going to secure it to the PCIe. That way there, I add a little bit of down pressure on it when I secure it, so it keeps it firmly plugged in, just like that. I have had that problem before where it pops out. All right, so that's routed, that's good, that's secured. These here are my front panel. They should be good. All right, we're good, guys. Let's see this. Camera. There we go. All right, camera, you're doing your job. Okay, so have extra brackets, spare parts. Let's go ahead and let's see all the errors. So this is going to be the back panel. Yep. What the hell? All right, guys. Now this panel did just fall off. There we go. I knew that there's going to be some slots, but I didn't figure out where they're at. Okay. So I'm tucking that SATA cable in since it's so wide. There we go. Side panel is on. Now I just need to fasten it. Let's see. Oh, come on. All right. So this is definitely going to be the last time I buy one of these cases. 100%. So this particular case right here, so stupid. There's no fasteners to hold the side panel on. It's just these pop-in locks. God, jeez. So stupid. So that means all your cable management has to be really tight. This guy right here is a problem. Gosh darn it. I've already got so much work into this. I don't want to have to take it back. But I'm not liking this case. Okay, so this right here is majority of the problem. So I'm going to pop this cable out. So all of these cables right here, I'm going to see if I can run them differently. Okay. So you have to have these cables tucked tight in order for this side door to close. In other words, it's not going to close. And since it's spring loaded, it just wants to pop back open. Bad, bad design. Come on. There we go. All right, so our cables should be able to lay a little bit flatter. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the cables wanted to bind up right here. Let's try it again. I can't believe they don't have fasteners locking it down. Nope, none. There we go. So to pull it off, you just pop them out, but I really wish that there was like a slide and a thumb screw. You know, traditional computer case. Next and the last is the glass. Okay, we go. Come on, missus. What the hell am I missing here? Guys, I swear I should have had some more caffeine or something to drink. Oh, that's right. I took the lower panel off. Oh, so stupid. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. My bad, guys. I took off the screen part right here, which has the mounting holes for the rest. Come on. There we go. Got it, we got it. And that's just one screw that holds that guy in. Imagine that, using fasteners to hold panels on. Okay, we're good. Actually, I like that. It looks nice and trim. Now let's get the glass panel on. Jeez. Okay, there's 3 little notches down here at the bottom. There we go. Nice and neat. And 1 captive thumb screw. So they have a thumb screw on the glass panel, but not on the other side. Whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean off this absolute mess of a back area over here. Hold on. All right. Lots of trash. So this right here was the space where my PC sat in before. So hopefully this case will sit here again. And let's see. I like that camera's tracking me. Let's go ahead and clean the space. All right. Beauty. Okay, let's see. Let's get the case set up. And I'm going to use the existing power cord. Okay. Really close on the space. Let's see. I don't want to be a dick. Yeah, I have a feeling that during the post, well, no matter what, we know that it's going to sit there and it's going to choke for a minute because it's got a brand new CPU and AMD, it does the memory timings. So it's going to act like it's not posting. I already expect that. Let's see. And I'm going to leave all the USBs off, I think, for the moment. And let's just hook up the display. Okay. There it is. Okay, single HDMI. I think the only other thing I really need is probably my mouse and keyboard. All right. Let's see, what did I do with that little fob? I have way too much stuff on my desk. Ah, it's still in my old PC. Okay, there we go. And let's see, PSU power. Please work. All right, and let's find out if it works. Okay, guys, so what it does when they go into a post, anytime you put new memory modules in, It's got to do memory timings on it, and it takes a little bit of time. It's not like the olden days where it would give you a beep code and you'd start going. But look at that. All right, we've got an ROG boot screen. It says we detect a new processor. Press yes to reset the trust module. Okay, it says my system will not boot without the recovery key. Yes. I don't think I have BitLocker on this computer. Yes. Do I have to get a USB keyboard? All right, let's clean out some of the garbage while we're waiting. Okay. USB keyboard it is. So someplace here, I have a whole supply of computer parts. And I knew I kept a USB keyboard for a reason. Let's see. Shoot. What did I do with my keyboard? Sometimes I have too much stuff, guys. Too much stuff. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. I've got USB keyboards. Sort of. Mind you guys, I knew where all this stuff was until I started straightening out my garage. And then some things got replaced. Come on. All right, let's see. What did I do with it? I have like 2 or 3 USB keyboards, and either they get borrowed, they get used for work, or they get organized to the point where I can't find them anymore. And that's where we're at. Come on. Okay, let's see. This one right here goes up here. Okay, I got it. Never mind, guys. I got it. All right, we're back in business. Let's go to, yes. All right. Sorry about that, guys, but that was just the way it is, you know. Your next case is a Fractal Pop ATX. I recommend non-window version. Well, hopefully I don't have to build another computer in a while. Hopefully. Send you an email with some links to some other things I use in my case to make life easier. Really? I'm the Colonel. Your videos got me interested in being a biomed a few years ago, so I went back to school, got my biomed tech degree. Been a biomed for 1.5. Really? Congrats, man. Good for you. Good for you. It's an amazing career field, and even I myself am in the process of some change. So I just got an email this morning that a buddy of mine resigned from his company, and that was kind of a surprise. And who's to say? I mean, who's to say where I'm going to be in the next 6 months? New CPU installed, press F1, of course, and my display is really dim. Okay, typical ROG BIOS. Let's see. Let's make sure that it can see my memory, which it can right here. Okay, so I get 64 gigs. And let's see. I'm going to leave everything on auto. And boot option 1. Okay, so it sees my M.2. So here, let's go escape. Cancel F10. Okay. Let's reboot this bad boy. Let's see how it does. So this right here is the Razer Cam. It's a beauty. It's a 4K camera. It's got, I guess it's maybe kind of a gimmick, is this outer bezel rotates and it closes the shutter, the aperture. Doesn't really do anything because it's got an acrylic face, and since it's got an acrylic face, it's going to get dirty regardless, so it doesn't help to have a shutter like that, but maybe for privacy. But anyway, this camera right here is going to be super nice because it's got an extra large sensor, and that extra large sensor is not only 4K, but it's going to allow me to get much better video under a variety of lighting conditions, which is what I need because this camera is going to be facing downward like so. Boot. Let's see if this works out. I don't remember if this computer was put on BitLocker. I don't think so. So if it wasn't, it should just boot up. All right. It's finding the drivers. Here, let me move this guy. All right. So you guys can see exactly what's going on. Okay. So interesting thing is this Osbot, this was my first indicator that I had a problem with my USB. Because the Osbot is a 4K camera and it would flicker. Like obviously it requires a bit of power because it's only a single USB-C connector that goes to the camera. So it was my first indicator that I had some bigger problems, and I had to remove it because it was always flickering. Oh, come on. All right. So Windows is making me change my PIN after another brief loading screen. So I've been using Windows 11 on this laptop over here for a while, and I have to say I'm not a fan at all. Windows 10, everything kind of made sense in Windows 10. It wasn't crazy, but Windows 11, they really put some stupid stuff in there. So one of the things that I really dislike is having the start in the middle, kind of like a Macintosh. I don't know why they chose to go that route, but since it's like a Mac, you can reorient the start bar, but I like having it so all of my programs migrate off to the right. It's just a preference, but okay. It says I need internet. Let's see. All right, so I do have a couple Wi-Fi antennas to hook up. Let's see, where are they? These guys. These guys right here. And I'm gonna need my clippers. Okay. So it's saying I can't connect to the internet, and partially that's because my Wi-Fi antennas are not connected. There we go. So over here, you can see right there, I've got some high gain Wi-Fi antennas. So it's not the OEM ones that came with the system. That's because the ones that come with the system are usually garbage. Facts. Let's see, you'll need internet. So it won't let me boot because I don't have internet, but it's not giving me the option to connect to Wi-Fi. Hi. That's Windows in a nutshell. So it's not giving me the option to connect to the internet, but it says I can't connect my PIN because for security reasons. It's kind of stupid because when it says you can't connect to the internet or you're not connected to the internet, it should give you the option, but it does not. So guys, I will get that figured out. It's absolutely ridiculous. Here, let's go ahead and try a restart. Yeah, let's go ahead and restart it. Because sometimes it won't load drivers the first time Windows boots. Hopefully on the second time, it'll do it. What I can also do is I can go into the System32 drivers folder and I can throw up the OEM drivers. I can manually put them in there. And I can do that from booting from a Linux distro. And I've done that before, and it's such a BS way of having to deal with this, but you know, we do what we can. So if Windows locks me out and doesn't allow me to do things, then I can boot into Linux usually and take care of business. Because I don't have BitLocker running, as far as I know. Yeah, see, it's not loading the drivers. So anyway, let's go ahead and shut her down. That's Windows in a nutshell. Absolute garbage. So anyway, guys, I'll tell you what. At this moment, I'm going to end this stream because Windows is absolutely ridiculous. And it's going to take probably another hour or two of me manually going in and putting drivers where they need to be just so it even recognizes that I have a Wi-Fi card. Go figure. So anyway, guys, you all have a lovely day. I would really like to not have to reinstall Windows on this PC, but that might be the fastest option. But then I gotta go through and redo all my settings and stuff on all those programs. What a pain. God, I hope I don't have to do that. So guys, that has been building a streaming PC, and I guess that's as candid as it gets. You're going to run into a lot of the same problems when you're trying to preserve an existing OS and put it on new hardware. It is the way it is, man. So it sucks, but I know probably the rest of my weekend I'm going to be getting this computer back to the way it was before all this happened. So guys, you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you do. And I will be sitting right here working on this PC. So guys, restore options from start menu. I don't think you can restore Windows because it's asking me to put in a new PIN. So it's now it's a security issue, and I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and I have some USB dongle Wi-Fi cards, because a lot of those will detect by Windows and it will auto-load the drivers, versus the drivers that I'm currently using are on the board. They're on the main board, and it's much less likely that Windows is going to pick up those drivers versus the USB dongles. Excuse me. So, it is what it is. I'm going to try the USB dongle first, probably, obviously, and we'll go down the rabbit hole until I end up formatting the whole drive, getting pissed off, and having to reload Windows. It's like a premonition. So guys, have a good weekend, and